We're past the 100-mile mark of today's Ford 400, the final race of the season for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. On the right, the race leader, Tony Stewart. Up on second place, Kevin Harvick by 2.3 seconds. On the left, the top two in the championship, Jimmie Johnson and Mark Martin, racing for fourth and fifth positions on the track from the pit studio with Rusty, Brad, and Ray. So far, all Tony Stewart's way. What about the two championship guys? What have you seen from them so far?
Right now, they're being patient out there, Alan. They know that when darkness comes, these cars are going to handle a completely different. I've talked to Johnson and Mark Martin. They're going to try to primarily stay on the bottom of the track. They feel uncomfortable up top. You see them getting loose right there, just kind of guarding these cars right now until the track gets hooked up with the darkness.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. They both seem to be pretty equal, and Mark has actually tracked down Jimmie, and Jimmie's just being very, very patient, like Rusty said. Find himself a good open space to ride and take advantage of not being in traffic right now. So it's going to be a shootout. These two guys are going to be duking it out as it gets darker.
Well, don't forget about the guy that's third in points. It looks like they made some adjustments on that pit stop, and his car is running better because he's closing the gap on those two guys. So those three Hendrick cars seem to be pretty matched, and with the way Junior's running, I think he's going to be up there too. It looks like Hendrick has found something along with the RCR cars for today.
One of the things that goes along with the last race of the year is drivers' last drives with people they've been with or rides they've had for the year before they go separate ways. Martin Truex Jr., his last ride for the Earnhardt Ganassi team in this one car before he moves on for next year, and it started off awfully well.
So far it's okay. And next year, Truex Jr. is one of the guys I'll be looking at. He'll be teamed up with Pat Tryson. Kurt Busch's crew chief should have a great run next year. But this guy right here, this veteran, Jeff Burton, he's been on fire of late. He's running real well.
Yeah, the RCR guys have found something. All of them are up in the front there. And Richard Childress said they've been building some new cars, and he attributes that to what they found to moving Scott Miller into a different engineering position, overseeing the building of all those cars. And you can see the results on track today.
This young man, I'm expecting, though, to have a tremendous year yet next year. And I'm talking about old Junebug up there near the wall, right, where he does it best. I mean, I think he and Lance McGrew are going to go forward in a big way, especially for next season. They built some good race cars down the last part of the year. But didn't have good finishes to show for it. He's got a good race going today, but I think next year, old Junebug bounces back, baby.
Martin Truex working on Jeff Gordon for sixth place. Here's a guy moving on from a group of people that he's been with basically since the start of his career. A lot of the guys at Earnhardt Ganassi Racing were with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. The man who brought Martin Truex Jr. into his fold and made a nationwide series champion out of him and so on. And here he is at his final ride for them, and he would love to find a way to put that car into victory lane tonight as Gordon looks back on him a little bit for that sixth spot.
Yeah, he and Kevin Manion have done a great job. Good opportunity to move forward.
Caution on the racetrack. Marcos Ambrose has had trouble since the start of the race, and now he was just facing the wrong way.
Didn't hit anything, boys. Come on, Marcos.
Like all four corners are still pretty square. Line it back up and go get it again.
Ambrose 14 laps down in the 41st position after spending time on the pit road earlier, having the carburetor changed on that car, a cut tire, then some problems under the hood, and it has been a very tough day for Ambrose after starting in third position and passing Jimmie Johnson for the lead in the early part of this race. Let's see what happened to Marcos.
Like he's up there in the high stuff, gets into the marbles up near the wall. I tell you, it's really difficult. As we see, you got to really have a talent for doing that as Junior and those guys do it. And he just got up there, got loose, turned it sideways, didn't hit anything. But, boy, he's having a tough day thus far.
Today he was hoping for with that great qualifying run and great starting position. So, after 100 miles already, and we just get to the first caution flag of this race.
Now, this is one of the key pit stops, guys. These guys need right now to start keeping up with this racetrack, making adjustments, maybe loosening the cars up a little bit, tighten them up, whatever your car needs. But the temperature's changing, Ray.
It is changing, Rusty, but you don't want to take too big a swing out of it because the sun is still out. And guys like Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, they know this race is going to finish with the lights on, so they're not going to take a big swing at it. They've got a comfortable spot, and they're going to make sure they ride on it without over-adjusting.
That signal you saw the NASCAR officials giving to some of the pit crews a minute ago is allowing them the extra man to go over the wall to clean the windshield for the drivers. So here they come to the pit road for stops. These will be at lap 82, Vince.
That's right, and Mark Martin, the only issue he's having with the car right now, he just doesn't feel like it's got the grip. Turned a little better in the center that time. They're going to put around a wedge in the right rear. It's interesting and important that he's got a clean entry to his pit box and a clean exit. That makes a difference. Shannon?
Loose into the turns is what Kevin Harvick is saying. They're going to put some wedge in the left rear. and they're going to make 4 tires on the 29. Dave.
Entry and exit of the corner is okay for Tony Stewart. It's the center that's tight. He'll get a wedge and air pressure adjustment. Jimmy Johnson will get a wedge adjustment for his race car and an air pressure adjustment. He said, I can make it turn with the back end of the car, but I'd rather have it roll through the center. Tony Stewart's going to win the race off pit road.
Race off of pit road. There's Tony Stewart. He wins the race. You see Martin gaining a position. Johnson back 1. Kurt Busch up 4 positions. And Truex lost 3 positions back to 9th spot.
Yeah, Montoya picked up 3 also. Right here. Look how close it was here with Jimmy Johnson and Mark Martin. Well, it looked closer than that.
And how about a celebration in the Tony Stewart pit? I mean, these guys know they got it done and got their man off of pit road first. Under caution for the first time today, the Ford Taurus pace car leads the field around here. 84 laps of 267 are in the books in the season finale. The Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass goes to the 82 car. He was the first car a lap down, and Scott Speed able to get back on the lead lap, now giving us 31 cars that are now on the lead lap. Let's compare some pit stops. We talk about some of these guys being conservative, particularly Jimmy Johnson, and is it costing him a little bit in the pits?
Yeah, they're just being very methodical about how they're doing this and going about the race. But Mark Martin, on the other hand, his team's pulling out all the stops, and they've made up 5 spots so far.
I think one important thing that you mentioned there, Doc, 31 cars still in the lead lap. That means a flat tire or anything like that puts Jimmy Johnson outside of that 27th place that he needs to finish right now.
And in 3 of the last 4 times we have run the season finale here, we've only had 5 or fewer cars DNF. That's critical because a problem in the last couple of laps for Jimmy Johnson could hand the championship to Mark Martin. Getting set for the restart here. Tony Stewart, double foul restart for the first time at Homestead-Miami Speedway history. In the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Stewart takes the high line.
Like Kevin Harvick spun his tires maybe just a little bit, had to protect that inside, but didn't spin them long. Beat Tony Stewart's turn 1.
They're spinning now off turn 2. He's got the lead.
Harvick pulls up in front of Stewart. Here comes Harvick's teammate Clint Boyer down, and Jimmy Johnson behind Stewart.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if Jimmy Johnson was going to be aggressive on this restart or if he was going to hold back. Well, he feels like the best place to be is up there towards the front. He's driving hard. Tries to take that 3rd spot away from Tony Stewart.
Juan Pablo Montoya also getting racy. A lot of fans here in South Florida for Montoya, who lives here in Miami.
Yeah, I heard the driver intros. A lot of people cheering for him. Look at this.
3 wide, Jeff Gordon down on the inside of the 31 car of Burton.
Yeah, Kurt Busch up into that 4th spot. He had a great pit stop. He's taking all advantage of that as he goes for 3rd.
And teammates going after here, the 33 car of Clint Boyer trying to get there.
I see Montoya making the move on Stewart. Wasn't Stewart leading this race on the restart?
Juan Pablo Montoya has to be the surprise of the chase. 5 top 5 finishes in 9 chase races. And now he's working on the 2 car for position. That would be for 4th spot.
No wonder he was laughing when he said his car was loose. He knew it was going to come to him.
Jimmy Johnson now hugging the bottom of the racetrack. Will try to slide up and take a spot away from Boyer. That would be 2nd position.